I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment. And I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it.
Confronting the woke mind virus, Elon Musk's stance on free speech and cultural change. Elon Musk has emerged as a controversial figure, especially in his outspoken criticism of what he calls the woke mind virus. His approach is characterized by a strong advocacy for free speech, meritocracy, and a call to confront the perceived cultural shifts that he believes threaten these values. We will explore Musk's views, his critiques of woke culture, and the implications of his beliefs on society and business. The origins of the woke mind virus.
Mind virus. How did it start? Was it bats? Was it a escape from a lab? I mean, what is your assessment of what? Because it's fairly recent. How did it start and why?
I was trying to figure out where it's coming from. I think it's actually been a long time brewing. In that I think it's been going on for a while. The amount of indoctrination that's happening in schools and universities is, I think, far beyond what parents realize. And I sort of came to realize this somewhat late. The experience that we had in high school and college is not the experience that kids today are having, and hasn't been for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 20 years. So
Musk attempts to trace the origins of the woke mind virus, questioning whether it was something that developed organically over time or if it was a more sudden phenomenon. He suggests that this cultural shift has been brewing for years, particularly within educational institutions. Musk believes that the indoctrination occurring in schools and universities has gone unnoticed by many parents, who may not realize how much the educational landscape has changed. To illustrate this point, Musk shares a story about a friend's daughters who could only identify George Washington as a slave owner, lacking any broader historical context.
Let me give you an example that a friend of mine told me, which his daughters go to college go to high school in the Bay Area, and he was asking them, like, well, so who are the first few presidents of the United States? They could name Washington, and I said, well, what do you know about him? Well, he was a slave owner. What else?
Right. Exactly.
Nothing.
Right.
I'm like, okay, maybe you should know more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the woke mind virus. Exactly.
This anecdote serves as a critique of how woke culture can reduce complex historical figures to single, negative attributes, limiting the understanding of history. The dangers of anti-meritocracy and suppression of free speech. Musk sees the woke mind virus as a trend that undermines meritocracy and suppresses free speech. He argues that questioning woke ideas is often discouraged, creating an environment where dissenting opinions cannot be voiced. This, he believes, poses a significant risk to society. He emphasizes the importance of free speech as a fundamental American value, pointing out the irony that many who once championed free speech are now advocating for censorship. Musk warns against the slippery slope of censorship, suggesting that those who support it today may find themselves on the receiving end of restrictions in the future. Business ethics and advertiser pressure.
I really can't emphasize this enough. We must protect free speech, and free speech only matters. It's only relevant when it's someone you don't like saying something you don't like, because obviously speech that you like is that's easy. So it's the thing about censorship is that, sure, for those who would advocate it, just remember, at some point, that will be turned on you.
Musk's commitment to free speech extends into his business practices, particularly in his handling of advertisers on X, formerly Twitter. When advertisers attempted to pressure him into censoring content, Musk made it clear that he would not acquiesce. His stance is that no company should control what people can or cannot say, even at the cost of advertising revenue. He expresses a willingness to prioritize principles over profits, stating that if it means losing money, so be it. Musk's approach is emblematic of his broader belief that freedom of speech must be upheld, regardless of the financial implications.
Said if they kill the company, it's them. But doesn't the buck stop with you? I mean, you're
Don, I have to say, choose your question carefully. There's 5 minutes left.
Okay, but so
Is this the question you want to ask?
The same question is you said that they are killing the company, but you're the head of the company. The buck doesn't stop with you?
I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment. And I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it.
Personal convictions and the issue of gender-affirming care. Musk's views are not just theoretical, they are deeply personal. He has been vocal about his opposition to gender-affirming care for minors, which he refers to as child mutilation and sterilization. This perspective is informed by a painful personal experience, as he shares that one of his children underwent a transition, a process he now regrets being part of. He criticizes the psychological community for what he perceives as a failure to protect children and calls for accountability for those involved in promoting such care. Musk's personal convictions drive his advocacy against what he sees as harmful legislation, and he has even relocated some of his business operations out of California in protest. Woke ideology and its evolution.
And I'm somewhat worried that they've ingested the woke mind virus in the training. You can see some of that in the output results. We obviously saw that with Google Gemini as well. To absurd degrees.
That was really quite
sort of
the
comical,
miracle.
where it said, draw a picture of the founding fathers of the United States, and it's a group of diverse women.
Yeah.
This is a historical event. This rewriting history.
Yeah. No, that was really something. That was really something to see.
Yes.
That was like a jaw on the floor moment.
Jaw on the floor moment, and
wow.
And then asking questions like, which one's worse, misgendering Caitlyn Jenner or global thermonuclear warfare? And it said misgendering Caitlyn Jenner. Like this.
That's a priority problem.
How powerful do you want this AI to get with beliefs like that? And I should, to Caitlyn Jenner's credit.
Yes.
Jenner said, I would really much prefer to be misgendered than have nuclear war.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So there's a limit to
good
all forms of
good for Caitlyn.
That's for sure.
So quite sensible.
Yes. Thank God for that.
Yes. And while it's sort of perhaps funny and ridiculous at this stage, imagine if the AI is...
It's not that funny.
I mean, it's semi-funny at this stage, but it's... the more powerful that AI gets, it could decide that is not merely that it wants to force that outcome, and simply say that
eradicate its performative contradictions, right? And
yes.
act out what it believes. Yes, that's highly likely.
It could conclude society is insufficiently diverse according to its programming, and will simply force that diversity
by whatever means
is necessary.
Musk provides his interpretation of what woke originally meant being aware of social inequities, but argues that it has devolved into a divisive ideology that blames societal issues on race or gender. He believes this focus on identity politics creates a never-ending cycle of division, which ultimately hinders progress. He emphasizes the importance of treating people as individuals rather than categorizing them based on their identity. Musk's critique highlights a growing concern that the focus on identity politics undermines the ability to have open discussions about complex social issues. The impact of AI and woke ideology. Musk also expresses concern about the influence of woke ideology on artificial intelligence. He notes instances where AI outputs reflect a bias influenced by this ideology, suggesting that as AI becomes more powerful, it could impose similar biases on society as a whole. For example, he references a situation where an AI program produced a historically inaccurate representation of the Founding Fathers, showcasing them as a diverse group of women. Musk warns that if AI systems are trained on biased data, they could potentially enforce a skewed view of reality, further entrenching the woke narrative. The broader cultural implications.
Talk about trans rights and the woke mind virus, because you've talked about that a lot. You're right about that a lot on the thing. You have been deeply outspoken about the issue of trans rights. You posted trans rights. You posted that pronouns in bio mean the woke mind virus ate your brain. Do you know what the term woke actually means?
It's come to mean a lot of things.
But what originally it was meant to mean. It's just being aware of inequities in society and being aware of facts and history.
Yeah, I think it's come to be. I think being aware of inequities in society is fine, of course, but trying to blame everything on trying to make everything a race issue is, I think, divisive and corrosive to society.
Even as it relates to trans issues, which is what I'm...
Yeah, race or, gender or whatever.
You think that society blames everything on racism now?
It blames a lot of things on it, and, yeah.
You think that's unfair?
Yeah.
Why?
I think we should not make this a constant subject. I think we need to move on. I think we should, treat people like people.
Musk's battle against the woke mind virus goes beyond personal conviction. It embodies a larger cultural struggle. He perceives the rise of this ideology as a threat to civilization itself, framing it as a fight against what he considers a rebranded form of communism. Despite being labeled as right-wing for his critiques, Musk maintains that he supports values such as empathy and environmental responsibility, which he believes transcend political affiliations. His perspective challenges the notion that one must adhere strictly to a political ideology to advocate for social justice and environmental care. Conclusion: the ongoing debate. Elon Musk's views on the woke mind virus and free speech have sparked intense debate. His willingness to confront cultural norms and challenge the status quo resonates with many who feel similarly disillusioned by contemporary societal changes. However, his approach also invites criticism from those who argue that his views may oversimplify complex social issues. As the conversation around woke culture continues, Musk's perspective serves as a provocative entry point for discussions about freedom of speech, meritocracy, and the implications of social justice movements. Ultimately, the ongoing debate will shape the future of discourse in society, influencing how individuals navigate the intersection of culture, politics, and personal conviction.
He wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that, do you
Yeah, I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you, advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you? Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me, we can talk about it over there, you can tell your friends, but why share it widely?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are, but I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got it puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that? People today saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
No, I'm definitely. I'm like a pro-Semite, if anything.
I believe that probably is the case.
Yes.
But why would you even introduce the idea then that would be the case?
I mean, look, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
No, God, no. I don't want to at all. But what I'm trying, even came up though in the annual meeting. I mean, do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man. Or, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet.